Is God, spirit, soul, walking around using a material body? No. No. This temple of the living God is spiritual. This body is spiritual. And the only thing about this body that is material is our concept of it. The body itself is spiritual. The concept we entertain of it is material, just as if you were to entertain the belief that that ring is silver. There wouldn't make anything silver about the ring at all. It's platinum. And the only silver about it would be the false concept of it that you entertain. And so it is, this body is the temple of the Holy Ghost. This body is the temple of God. This body is infinite, immortal, and eternal. But we have accepted the world's concept of it, and we call it material. And as long as we entertain that concept of it, we will bury our concept. We'll never bury our body. We will bury our concept. And so, as long as you think this is me up here, it is possible that you will accept the belief that you can bury me, or even if you accept the belief that this is my body that you're seeing, you may accept the belief that you are watching it be buried. But this isn't my body. My body is here, but you can't see it. You are right now entertaining your concept of body, the concept of body. I think that's why some of us say this girl is beautiful and another one say this girl is beautiful. I don't see how you can say that one is beautiful. I don't think we're seeing the beauty of the girl. We're seeing our concept of beauty. And because if the girl were beautiful, everyone would agree on it. The girl isn't beautiful. It's our concept that's either beautiful or not beautiful. No, let us understand this now. The principle of life is this, that God is the causative principle. Do you believe that God made something to decay, to rot, to fall away, to be diseased? No, God never did that. All of that goes on in our false concept of existence. And so, even though Jesus was buried in the tomb, and everyone agrees on that, they were all there at the funeral, very happy, too, to be there and watch that burial. I'll bet it gave them a great source of satisfaction to say that fellow's out of the way now, and we've watched him be put away, and we've put that stone there so that he can't get through. Oh, there must have been a great deal of satisfaction about that. And you know as well as I do that they were agreed that he was dead and that he was buried. They saw it. You can't have better proof than that, can you? The only trouble with it was that he was seen walking the earth after the burial. And now we come to a question of theology. How about the thousands of people that saw the death and the burial of Jesus and saw him sealed into the tomb? Will we take their word, the thousands of people, or will we take the word of 500 people who saw him walk the earth after the funeral? That's a very serious question, because there were many more who saw him dead and buried than ever saw him walk the earth after the resurrection. Will we believe the thousands or the few hundred? Well, it all depends on which way you look at it. If you're satisfied to take the opinion of human sight, then Jesus was not resurrected, and he's still in that tomb, or what's left of him. If you take the word of people who through their development were known to have been spiritual in their approach to life, people who caught the vision of that which cannot be seen, then you would say, I'd rather take the word of one of them than of 10,000 of the others. So it is with us. If you take the word of the undertakers, then bodies have been left for burial and for cremation. And those bodies don't come to earth anymore. But if you take the word of the few who have sometimes attended funerals and seen the very individual being buried actually standing up there laughing at the whole performance. If you want to take the word of that one as against the hundreds of others who were witnessing the funeral, then you would have been one of that 500 that witnessed the resurrection, because that is the truth of being. The truth of being is this. In spiritual illumination, you are able to see those whom human sense has died and been buried. Again, some of you, I'm sure, have had the experience, and I can tell you that I have. My own wife passed on and came back to me 3 times in 3 days, and each time with a specific message. And I'm not a spiritualist, and I'm not a believer in the dead returning to life, nor have I ever delved into occultism or spiritualism, but I had the actual experience of witnessing 6 hours after her passing, witnessing her stand by my side talking to me. I had the actual experience 12 hours later, when going through terrible pains of a headache through the excitement and stress of what I'd been through with her, and fighting myself, arguing. I can help other people, I just couldn't help my own wife or myself. And where is this God that I'm preaching about and talking about, and having all the rest of these arguments that you probably had yourself at times, when instantaneously she was standing by my side and said, "Oh, Joel, why don't you stop that battle? The battle isn't yours, but God's. The battle takes place in your consciousness. Your consciousness is the arena between that which we call God, which is good, and a non-existent, a supposititious thing called evil. It isn't even real. And if you just leave it alone and don't enter into the battle, that good will dissolve the illusion of the evil." And that quickly I was healed. And the third time was the next morning when I awakened and realized that because of a peculiar circumstance I was without funds. And I thought, what am I going to do now? That quickly she was back there and took me over to my bookcase and pointed to a book and told me the page to open to. And when I opened to that page, it said, "In your new consciousness you will have health and wealth. Health to enjoy wealth, and wealth to enjoy health." And I don't mind telling you that within 24 hours that new consciousness started to build up the temple of my finances again. Now, that wasn't the only experience. I've had many. I had a patient pass on who was under pressure in his family, and he said to me, he said, "You can't save me, nor can anyone else." He said, "The pressure in this house is too great. They don't want me, and I haven't got the resistance to overcome it." And he says, "I know enough on the inside to know that you're not going to succeed as hard as you're trying." He said, "I'm going tonight." But he said, "I want to tell you this. I've already had the assurance of immortality, not only of my soul, but of my body." And he said, "I want you to be on the lookout for me for 3 days. Because," he said, "I'm going to appear to you to show you that this is true." Well, it was the 3rd day. My wife and I, this wife who passed on, were sitting in the living room looking toward a window when she said, "Look, look." And I looked up, and there was my friend Henry. We both saw him, and he just waved this way and was on about his business. Strangely enough, he was wearing the same suit of clothes I'd last seen him in. This isn't imagination. Take my word for it that I have been 23 years in this healing work, and I've seen enough people healed of one disease or another, one condition or another, to know that there's nothing dreamlike about this work. It's actual and it's practical. I've seen people raised from sickness just as I was raised from death twice. It's practical. There's nothing dreamy about it. And when I say to you that we don't die, and the body doesn't die, and it doesn't get buried or cremated, I really mean it in an intensely practical way, in the same way that Jesus meant it when he said, "Look, flesh and blood, it's the same wounds, it's the same skin. Don't you see it's the same body? Why, I'll even eat and drink with you to prove to you that it's the same body that was crucified." They don't bury bodies or cremate them. They walk the earth again. Only they're invisible to material sense, but they're not invisible to spiritual sense. Now, never think that you are going to be a healer if you judge by material sense. If you're going to judge materially, then your friend, relative, or patient has a sick material body and there isn't anything you can do about it. It is only through spiritual sense that you can look at that appearance of disease, that body, and still see the body of God in its complete integrity, in its complete spiritual nature, and thus bring out healing. And so it is with this other. Never think that with the human eyes you're going to see the bodies of those who have passed on. You're going to have to develop the same spiritual sense that enables you to be a healer. And if you develop that, you will witness those who have, to our sense of things, passed on. That's how an illumined soul dies. That's how everybody else dies too, only they don't know it. The unillumined get kicked out of their sense of life by sin and disease, and the illumined walk out.